doesn't know the name Davy Crockett, one of the most famous frontiersmen of all time? Back when Disney was pretty much king of the world, they released a show called Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. And after the show wrapped up, they decided to put a lot of the episodes together into one big compilation, being this movie. So, yeah, this is a bit of a cheat, but at the same time, I think it works okay as a film, so I think it's worth talking about. And besides, Davy Crockett has definitely played a large part in Disney's identity, so I think we gotta talk about it. The film, like I said, is a condensed version of all the episodes, so they definitely had to cut a lot of things out. This is funny seeing how the show was already a very romanticized version of a real historical character. So the movie sort of serves as a best of the show. But it still comes off pretty effective, seeing how they know just how much character to keep in there and just how many plot points to keep in there, so it never feels rushed or out of place. It's just following his journeys of Davy, his partner Russell, finding adventures to partake in, helping piece out ties with the Native Americans and the white man, killing wildlife, and occasionally even seeing the missus and his kids. Yeah, he does that, once in the movie? Ah, the 40s, when Family for a Man was more of a side project. With that said, they don't always shy away from the hard truths. For example, the last episode and the last part of the movie is the Alamo, and, well, they lose, as you know happens in history, and they don't shy away from that. But again, it's very romanticized. Everything is played up almost more like a legend than it is actual history. Even the guy who plays Davy, Fess Parker, just look at him with the squinty eyes, chiseled jaw, good looks, very laid-back voice. I mean, this guy is practically a frontiersman Jesus. And I think that's the attitude you have to have going into this. That is romanticized, it is played up, it is having fun more with the legend aspect than the historical aspect. Hell, there's actually a scene where he's talking about grinning down a bear. Yeah, that's right, taking down a bear by just grinning at him.
There's nothing so absolutely unresistible as an old-fashioned good-natured grin. Like this. I figured the same thing ought to work on bars, but I never got a chance to find out.
It's pretty silly. But I think Fess Parker's performance is so laid back and so confident that I kind of enjoy it. I can see how a lot of history buffs will look at this and kind of laugh, but I think they make the myth that they've created here just so likable that it's hard for me not to have fun with it. Russell's a good side character, there's a lot of good friends and foes that they come across along the way. Some of them stereotypes, but not as mean as you would think. It just sort of has its own strange, unique charm to it. It is cheesy, and a lot of it is kind of fictionalized, but at the same time, it's the kind of story you want to believe. And you have fun believing, even though you know it's probably not true. It's like 300. You know it's overdone, but it's kind of enjoyable how overdone it is. I think that's probably a good way to figure out whether or not you'll enjoy it. If you want to see the true story of Davy Crockett and his adventures, this probably isn't the best version to watch. But if you want to know about the myth, the legends, more the tales that people would tell around a campfire than you would find out of a history book, then I say this is a lot of fun. I know it's hokey, but for me, it's just an old-fashioned good time. Well, with the popularity of Davy Crockett the movie and the show being so successful, they of course had to make a sequel. But how the hell do you do that? You see Davy Crockett die in the last film. Well, this one they straight up say is a pure legend. In that, it's completely fictionalized. In that, there may have been a Mike Fink, him and Davy Crockett may have crossed paths at some point, but that's where the history stops. There's no other truth in this. Hell, they even straight up admitted in the song.
But most of his chores for freedom and fun got turned into legends, and this here is one.
And as one of these totally unneeded sequels just glorifying a myth goes, it's a lot of fun. Not for Davy, not for his partner Russell, but for Mike Fink. Oh my god, this guy is so enjoyable to watch. He is just the right amount of over the top. He's goofy, he's big-eyed, he's always got his mouth open, he's always drinking or smoking a cigar. He's always fighting, he's always punching, he's always looking to get in trouble. You just love this guy. Listen to what a loudmouth he is.
I am the original ringtail roarer from the Thunder and Lightning country. I'm a real snorter and a headbuster. I can outrun, out-jump, out-sing, out-swim, out-dance, out-shoot, out-eat, out-break.
Out-talk?
Yeah, out-talk.
Look at his expressions. Nothing he does is subtle, but it's just so... Oh my god, you can't stop watching him.
Why, that's plain uncivilized piracy.
Ain't no question about it. Now make up your minds and let me know before morning. You keep me from my drinking.
He just steals every single scene that he's in, and it just makes for a great time. Which is good because the story, or stories, there's two in this one, are kind of lackluster. Russell gets drunk and accidentally challenges Mike Fink into a boat race. Mike Fink of course agrees, knowing that Davy and his crew know absolutely nothing about doing any boat work. But through hard work, determination, and their own theme song, they find the courage to actually be a fitting match. While the first half is about the race, the second half totally changes direction. Mike Fink and Davy become friends, and now they're on the lookout to stop some sort of Native American scheme where people dress up like Native Americans in order to rob people, and that's gonna start a war between the white man and them again. Yeah, it's kinda silly. But who cares? It gives a chance for Mike Fink to be in more of the movie, and I'm totally okay with that. But to the film's credit, it's not all Mike Fink and his gang. I mean, Davy Crockett is still Davy Crockett, and Russell is still Russell. They're both really charming. And once in a while you come across another funny character. For example, there's this one guy who sends messages in code to a bunch of smugglers about what the boat is carrying. If a boat is carrying gold, he'll sing about a woman who has hair just like gold. And that'll be the cue to rob it.
The color of yaller, yaller, yaller gold.
This makes for a really funny scene when he discovers that it's actually Davy Crockett and Mike Fink, and how he tries to subtly alert them of what's going on.
I thought maybe you fellas might like to hear a little music. It's Crockett and Fink, and down in the hold, there's a cannon and spread of yellow, yellow gold.
It all builds up to a climax with the smugglers, and it's just kind of goofy, silly, hokey goofiness. Which I loved as a kid, and I gotta be honest, I kinda still like as an adult. It's the same reason I like the original Davy Crockett. It's just totally glorifying the myth and lore, except this time throwing in a little bit of comedy. But the comedy works. So if you're looking for a lighter version of the Davy Crockett story, maybe without the heavier moments, I say this is a good one to check out. Nothing spectacular, just the right amount of excitement and laughs.
Davy Crockett, tangling with Big Mike Fink.